Hey up troops, welcome back to the Litanah army. I'm Lit and this is Dauntless, and it's the game that everyone is talking about at the moment on the Epic Games Store, and for good reason. There are a lot of positives to draw from this game. Now, first off, we need to address there are a lot of parallels between this and Monster Hunter World, a game that's already had huge successes and it's got a huge fan base at the moment. Basically, your journey through Dauntless is going to be very similar. You basically kill the Behemoths, then you use the parts to craft better weapons and armor, level up your hero using the XP that you gain along the way, rinse repeat right up to the end game until you're taking down huge monsters as a team, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. I mean, that's the great thing about any game like this. Taking down a huge monster or a huge boss as a team where you're using coordinated attacks always feels absolutely great. But a lot of people are writing this game off, and they're writing it off way too early. They're basically saying it's a poor man's Monster Hunter World, it's graphically inferior, it's just a clone, and asking the question as to why would you buy this game when you've already got a AAA title like Monster Hunter World there on the shelf. But what stands out to me is the dev and the dev's approach to this, and that is what we're going to be focusing on today, as we look at 6 reasons why I think Dauntless could be a huge success. So let's go and check out if Dauntless is actually worth your time, or is it just another flash in the pan. Stay tuned. The first thing that stands out about Dauntless then is that it is free to play, making it accessible to absolutely everyone. And what's more, the game's already available on PC, Xbox and PS4, and it has crossplay already up and running. Now, not many devs launch with this much finesse and accessibility at the very start, and it means that finding a team in Dauntless is always quite quick and easy. I remember sitting in the GTA Online lobbies for ages waiting to join heists when the heists first came out, and in Dauntless you just don't have any of that. You're in the thick of the action relatively quickly every single time. Now, because the game's free to play, that leaves the question of how is it funded? Well, it's funded in 2 ways. Now, the first is via the sale of platinum, which allows you to buy cosmetics in the game, which are divided into different types. So you've got dyes that change the colour of things, transmogs that change how the item looks, and then you've got your typical items such as banners, emotes and consumables, which are all in there as well. Now, there's currently a good enough selection, but it will need to get bigger if the game's to be around for a long time. We're talking a lot about the longevity. Is this game going to be a big success? And I think it's going to need more in there as the game progresses. But for right now, there's actually plenty in there, and I've had some great fun changing around how my character looks. Now, the second way the game is funded is via the Hunt Pass, which works a lot like the Battle Pass in Fortnite. Now, this is something that we've now seen creeping into other games. It's in Apex Legends already, and I know some other games are actually putting it in there. And I think these Battle Passes and the Hunt Passes are actually a great way to play the game. Now, you can play the game and work through the pass just like you can in Fortnite without getting the Elite version of the Battle Pass. But if you do get the Hunt Pass and you get the Elite version of the Hunt Pass, then what you will find is that you'll have better items and you'll have some unique items unlocked in there as well. But you know what? It's not going to change how good you do in the game. If I get through the entire Hunt Pass and I get to level 50, because there's currently 50 levels, and you don't, it doesn't mean that you're going to be any better or worse in a game than what I am. I'm just going to look so much better. Now, one gripe I have with a lot of games is the wait times that you have to wait for them to start. We all remember Anthem with the load screens and the long waits to actually get into a game. And what Dauntless does, it allows you to find a group, prep your loadout and start hunting in no time at all. In fact, it's so fast to get into a hunt that it just makes it feel less of a grind and more like a flowing RPG. Each hunt was taking me between 5 and 15 minutes, with 7 being the average. Now, I'm only level 10, but it meant that collecting certain items never felt like a chore. I always had a purpose. So a game for me, it's got to be quick, fast-paced and have some really good drop in gameplay. Games like Fortnite, FIFA, League of Legends all adopt this strategy, and it's great to see a development team pick up on this and actually put it into their game. That, coupled with the free-to-play angle that the game's gone down, really makes me feel like the devs are player-focused rather than just money-focused, which is refreshing in this day and age. Now, one thing I loathe in games is ones that make me endure an intensely boring walkthrough of basic controls, or a tutorial that I've just got to spend 10-15 minutes on just so I can learn all the basics of an actual game. Now, what Dauntless actually does, it gradually delivers small nuggets of well-timed information just as you need it, so it never feels like a chore to play. Now, there's a lot to take in this game. You've got to look at your different weapon types, you've got different weapon skills and abilities, you've got armor sets, you've got elements that go in them armor sets, all the behemoth abilities, what behemoths are good against what elements, and so forth. It can be quite overwhelming. I was going to say daunting, but it can be quite overwhelming when you first put the game on. But it's really good at how the game actually delivers you this at just the right kind of timing, so you never feel like you've not got the information that you need. On top of that, the NPCs look great, and they give you missions to actually learn the information rather than a big wall of text for the player to navigate. Now, I would have liked to see more voice acting, but maybe that's asking too much from a game that's free to play at this stage. There's definitely room for some short cinematics like the chef cats from Monster Hunter, which I absolutely love, but it is early days yet, so I'll be keen to see what they actually do with this. But ultimately though, Dauntless is very easy to learn for seasoned players of the genre and also complete newcomers alike, making this game even more accessible, which can only be a good thing. Now, one thing that surprised me the most in Dauntless is just how good the Behemoths look and they actually behave. Each one's got its own unique fighting style, and you and your friends are going to need to learn how each one fights in order to take it down. Now, the young early game Behemoths, or the lesser Behemoths, are relatively easy, but tactics and timing are required as you reach their bigger counterparts later on in the game. Now, there's currently a really good selection of Behemoths, but I do feel that gradually adding more is going to be essential to the longevity of this game. Now, saying that, it did feel really good the first time that we approached an Embermain, for example, and we were like, oh, we know this one. And it was a really good feeling and a really epic feeling when we coordinated and we took that down, having learned everything that we'd learned from the previous fights. Now, there are variants of each Behemoth. For example, you may have a lesser Boreas, for example, and then a normal Boreas. I don't know if there's going to be a greater one later on in the game. I'm at level 10 at the moment, the game only came out yesterday, but hopefully there's going to be, or maybe some epic or legendary versions later on that are going to give bigger rewards. Now, each one of these are not identical, so a lesser Embermain is not the same as a normal Embermain. They are going to be slightly different, which does add some variety and spice to the game. Now, being level 10, I've still not fought all of the Behemoths yet, which is great, but it's for this reason that I'm really enjoying building up my loadout, preparing for what I know is going to be some brutal hunts later on. So, the graphics then. So the game's free and the graphics are cartoony. So does that make it a poor man's Monster Hunter world? Well, I personally think the graphics look great, and I can run it on Ultra with minimum issues. I've got next to no issues running this game whatsoever. My son even ran this on a GTX 780 on high, and it still looked great and ran at a decent frame rate as well. Now, this reminds me of what people used to say about Fortnite when PUBG was the most popular battle royale game. The fact that Dauntless has easy to run graphics, quick playtime rotation, and is free to play make Dauntless a very powerful force in this genre. I think that character customization probably needs a little bit of work. I mean, it's good that they have a liberal approach to sexuality, but there's definitely feels that there's a lack of options when it comes to actually making your character. Many of the NPCs look far better than some of the Slayers, and that doesn't always feel right. Okay, so the final part that I want to touch on here is crafting. Each Behemoth unlocks you an armor and a weapon set that can be upgraded, modded, and have its appearance changed as well. Now, the game allows for some really fun playstyles, and although you don't need to, you can spend a lot of time working on your perfect loadout. And be that just how the loadout actually is, so the stats on your actual weapons, or maybe it's going to be how your weapon actually looks or how your armor looks, you can spend a lot of time in this game. There's a lot of vanity in this game, if you like, in that sense. My preferred playstyle at the moment is I love using the chain blades and I like the Embermain armor. However, that doesn't mean that that's the only one that I used. You know, it always changes based upon who we're up against. Now, throughout this game, you're going to unlock loads of mods, emblems, and things that are going to make your loadout even more unique, which is a really nice touch, I think. And giving the player this many options just shows that the developers do appear at this stage to be very player focused, which can only be a good thing. So just to summarise then, and this isn't even covering everything that we talked about, but Dauntless is quick and fast paced, it's got really good drop-in gameplay. Monster Hunter fans are going to be familiar with it, but the tutorial is so good that new players are going to just easily get into this game. The Behemoths are really unique, but there is scope for a few more, which I think. Graphically, it's so easy to run that it's really accessible. Its crafting and rotation is great, so the actual crafting side of this game is really good, and on top of all that as well, it's free to play. And with no pay to win model in there, it's just win-win all around. Guys, I would absolutely highly recommend getting Dauntless. It's really good. We are going to be streaming this later on for you guys that want to see it. And also as well, it does do the support a creator code. So if you guys do want to get this game, look at the top comment in this video, use that link down there, use my support a creator code in the Epic Games Store, because it just really helps me out. And hopefully we can make more of these and we can get a lot more Dauntless coverage on the channel. But massive thanks for watching, guys. If you're not part of the Litanah army already, hit that subscribe button and I will catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.